profitable market for companies generating 40% of its entire, can sustain many countries in the region. Also, the returning diaspora bringing skills and growth. Nigeria has the freest and most vibrant press on the African continent. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to boost investors' confidence, the Nigerian government has established the Nigerian Investment Promotion Council, primarily charged with the responsibility of promoting and supporting foreign direct investment into Nigeria. The Nigerian Export Promotion Council, the Free Trade Zone, these are in addition to other acts of National Assembly that allow for 100% repatriation of profits. Currently, the Americans, the British, the French, the Chinese, the Indians, the South Africans, the Russians, and the Emirates are actively involved in various sectors of the Nigerian economy, trying to consolidate different levels of long-term sustainable and mutual beneficial investments in Nigeria, from agriculture, infrastructure, banking, healthcare, manufacturing, stock market, etc. Nothing less. Nevertheless, Sweden is not completely left out in the Nigerian market, because I'm sure my Swedish friends will be wondering, where do we belong? We are not left out, because a number of Swedish multinational companies have been operating in Nigeria for a long time. Volvo, ABB, Tetra Pak, Atlas Copco, and what have you. However, it is not enough. We are really good. And it is time we witness the entry of another batch of Swedish brands into the Nigerian market. Because, like I said earlier, the Embassy of Nigeria in Stockholm is covering Norway, Denmark, and Finland. And we are mentioning only very few of Swedish companies in Nigeria. So we expect more. We are looking forward for more to come to Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
I work for Chamber Trade Sweden. My name is Malin Dacke. I'm a program manager. We have our base in the Swedish Chambers of Commerce. There are 11 regional chambers of commerce in Sweden, so 7 of these sit on our boards, are the ones who founded us 3 years ago. We work very much on enabling international trade, and we have our special mission to build capacity within business member organizations in developing countries, and we have a very strong emphasis on Africa. And we always work with local business member organizations, basically with chambers of commerce, but also other kind of business networks, very much women entrepreneurs and development and trade. We have a well-organized society. We have a well-developed service sector. Infrastructure and ICT is well advanced, and I think infrastructure is one of the areas where we could also find a lot of more cooperation. Very efficient distribution chains. It's a small and open economy. We are highly dependent on trade. So we are an export nation, but it's not that we export things that we do ourselves. So 60% of the export actually has its base in import. And this is very much where you come in. So we need to import things and parts that we put together and then we export. And coming back to some brands, I think you recognize a few of them that, as you mentioned, are in also in Africa and also in Nigeria now. But it's also important to remember that those companies that started 130 years ago, they are not the ones making the most money anymore. They are not the ones employing the new people. The new employers are the certification and those companies that came out of these companies. So we need to work more to get these on internationalization of them. So one of the things that Chamber Trade Sweden also do is on market intelligence. So we're trying to help you to show what Sweden is. So we do some reports on how to access the Swedish or the Nordic market. We have that on the website, so you can find everything there. We do some sector-specific market reports. For instance, in Green Tech, and also working with mentorship now for 1.5 years, in Africa, we did a mentorship guide that we use as a handbook in the program. So knowledge is always essential when you enter a new market.
You're taking many examples of what triggered the Swedes to do more business with Nigeria. I saw some figures the other day on China. As you know, China is very active in Africa. And about 10 years ago, the trade between China and Africa was approximately $20 billion. 10 years later, it's up to $200 billion. Europe, approximately today, $130 billion, and America, the United States, about 100. When you look to the figures of Sweden and Africa, it's increasing, but it's surely not enough, and especially when you come to West Africa. And this was a trigger for us when because we looked a bit on West Africa as you did in the 60s, 70s when you look at China. And at that time, there was a French minister who visited China and said after his visit, when China awakes, the world will tremble. And now you can say the same thing about West Africa, especially when in connection with the Nordic countries. So there is cultural differences, and that's why we call our chamber for not only for commerce but also for culture, because we think it's extremely important especially for the small businessmen, to know how it all works. And you see this where we look on the whole market, the whole West African market. The experiences are from culture, food, decoration, and so on. When you come to countries, the most well-known, apart from Nigeria, is probably Gabon, Ivory Coast, and Mali, because of the culture. Lack of knowledge, communication, information is probably the biggest obstacle that we're not doing enough business. North Africa, East Africa, and the southern parts of Africa are all very well known areas, but West Africa is probably the less known for Swedes.
We are producing solvatten in Sweden, and we are distributing it, making it available to people in all these countries that I said. And we want to talk about the directness. We want to help save lives, and especially children that are under 5 years old, that are so vulnerable to diseases coming from the bad water. It's very durable, so it can be used for a long time, and it's very direct. You use direct and you get back. See that this 75 degrees of safe water is really the key to get people to accept and to start using it every day. So the most important thing here to maintain health is to use something every day. And 75 degrees, how much charcoal, how much firewood does it not take to heat that water up to 75 degrees? You can cook a meal on 75 degrees, porridge, at least porridge. You can use tea, good temperature for green tea. And it's very easy to learn. So hot water, safe water, and easy to learn, easy to use. So this is from East Africa, domestic use in a rural region, and the women is the ones most using the gadget. So this is the last last note I wanted to leave with you. When you can send something back home, you can send something that brings hope. I think that is the word I want to leave you with, that this product is not just a product, it's a feeling of hope that you can give to people back home or in the communities that you can assist that has very limited access to the electric grid, very limited access to piped water. It will take generations before that village is going to have piped water and electricity.
I mean, I'm very impressed by the product, and a lot of people are extremely impressed by the way you've actually developed this product. One of the things, obviously, is the cost. And so I suppose my question is, do you have any sort of setups with microfinance institutions or banks where people can, pay over time? I would be interested in hearing a little bit on that. Do you have a relationship with local sort of finance?
Reaching a mass market is like a big undertaking. Yeah. And with that comes marketing. How much marketing you need to invest in that. We're still a small company. We're a startup. And if you want to really be playing with the big boys, I mean, then you have to work with the big Atlas Copco or the IKEA and get them to actually work along these lines and our vision.
You can see that business is happening. If you have listened attentively to all the presentations so far, there is something that is common in all the speeches. Sweden seems to be full of businessmen who do business with a human face. We've heard about mentorship, we've heard about empowering women, we've heard something about children, rural areas. So this is exactly a new form of business mentality and business philosophy that Nigeria needs to explore, making holy profits and doing business with a human face. Going forward, let me then call on Mr. David Freikeres. He's the Managing Director of Agenity, AB, also a green electricity company. Mr. Freikeres, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Her Excellencies, Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're going in from water to power, energy. So, thank you very much. I followed David's company since the beginning, actually. I'm very impressed about the way he has developed. I believe you have more than 200,000 out now, isn't it?
There's units and there's users. And we like to think of the users.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. I'm going to talk about how to transform waste heat or low energy sources into electricity. I think a little bit about the background of Agenity, about what we call the overseas systems, a little bit of solutions, but I'm going most into examples because I think that's the easiest way to understand this product. This product is a little bit bigger, so I cannot bring it here, unfortunately. So, what are we doing? We're using the natural law of hot wanted even out with cold. So a hot source, for us it could be a boiler, it could be a gas turbine, it could be the sun, it could be any kind of factory, oil and gas industries. A cold source could be water, it could be a lake, it could be a tea factory using heat. Any kind of, and what we need a temperature of 60 degrees between the hot source and the cold source. So what we do with that is we take a part of this energy, transferring some of the heat difference into green electrical power. We've been doing this with the technology, which is the Rankine cycle. It's one of the oldest technology actually making electricity. It's the normal way to make electricity with the steam turbine. We have changed out the water in the steam though to a refrigerant, so we can lower down the temperature to much lower temperatures than actually could be used today. And by doing that, we could step into a new area where we can make green electricity out of low temperature waste heat. So, why could this be of any use? We see energies and we see turbines and diesel as a very good waste heat recovery, waste heat source. A gas turbine, for example, I know we have several of them, for example, from Siemens down in Nigeria. They have a waste heat of 62%. Only 38% is actually turned into electricity. And so this is a very, very excellent waste heat source for our units. We get the mining industry, we have both low energy methane gas. We have diesel generators in a lot of places. We have diesel gensets, biogas units, but also you could build it with pure sun powered plants. And looking for gas turbine, with one of our system, we could turn the gas turbine more efficiently, but also save a lot of dollars. And I think that the problem in a lot of places when it comes to electrification is actually the cost of production of electricity. So even though we take a small portion, we turn it to electricity, it turns out to be very, very big savings for it.
To add, we have a few other Swedish companies here as well. So I know we have Telux around, and I would like the Swedish companies that are not presenting to just please stand up and tell your company names so that we can ease the networking session afterwards. Please.
I'm Alf Lilja, I'm working with solar energy most of the time in East Africa, but we start up in Nigeria this year.
Yes, Lars Hansson, and I'm Natex Group, and we are conducting mostly finance for energy projects in West Africa and in East Africa. Unfortunately, not so much in South Africa, or it's the best because the potential is in the other parts, not in the South Africa. There have we been in the past. Nigeria is the future.
Ulf Hoffman from Sweetrade Pharmaceuticals. We're working obviously in pharmaceuticals, but also in water purification, mobile water purification plants.
Is your company operating like Western Union and MoneyGram?
Exactly.
Same
like
platform?
Same platform. It's a British company actually.
What's the difference then in rate?
The rate is actually, it's like the margins. If I to sell something, I can put high margin on it, make more profit, or low margin, make less profit. So those bigger companies, they have like monopolized the market. They know, everybody knows them. I mean, Western Union has been around for 150 years. So in the beginning, there were other competitors, so they could take whatever they wanted. Still, they're doing it. But now with the technology being available for everyone, so you have the same system now. So we are actually, Small World has more, in Nigeria, it's a different market. There's a lot of bank deposits. So we have a service called instant bank deposits. So money is there instantly within a few minutes. And we do a lot of bank deposits, most of it.
Are you located in many countries or only in the Nordic state countries?
No, many countries. Actually, the Small World Group, we own several companies. But the brand Small World Group just started. So if you go to UK, you'll see LCC, Express Fund, Global Link. It's all actually owned by Small World. So it's only in the Nordic we started only Small World. So we just started recently 1 year back. But we operate in 188 countries. It's one of the largest networks in the world.
It's a small, big world. You've heard about 180 million. You want to know that the Nigerian diaspora, I think it's the second biggest diaspora in the world after India. Yeah. All right. The Nigerian diaspora meets over
21 billion.
21 billion dollars annually every year. So that is a very big business for your small world. Mr. Enes, please, if you want to say a few words to the audience. Mr. Enes is the host. He has worked like a German. to make this event possible, of course, not alone, but in consonance together with his executive. Honorable President.
Thank you. Good morning, Excellency, for backing us up and being here, because as Nigerians, we cannot feel more proud if we don't have our government behind us. So thank you for doing that. And first, I will leave the introduction of the Europe chapter chairs officially and the Board of Trustees to the chapter, the chairman of NIDOE Europe. But I have to concentrate on my chapter, who without their backing, I couldn't have done this, and there will be no chapter without the members. So more importantly, the members of the planning committee from the chapter that works together with the general, the entire committee. And here I will start with Professor Freda Asiegu, a lecturer in the university here, the retired professor Sama Thomas sitting beside him. Our first chairman and a business man, the scientist, Dr. Rahim. And Mr. Saliu, PRO, he has worked like hell. We are awake till 12 last night. So if we are asleep, you don't get surprised. That's our airport secretary, Dr. Mrs. Hamidu. There's Mr. Kingsley, there's the treasurer, and our spokesperson, entertainer, and MC in most cases. So I thank you, and we cannot thank you enough for honoring this invitation and coming in, flying in, and paying your bills. So somebody asked me, what is there for you in NIDOE? I said, I've asked myself the same question, but what I should say is, it's another brand of patriotism. So that is what I want to know.
Standing on all existing protocols again, I think the visit to Stockholm, I can say, has been successful. This meeting today has been a successful one because one, the solar water system company, I think we are going to engage this company to do business with us in Nigeria. Like I said earlier on, they are our fellow Nigerians who are displaced by the Boko Haram insurgency in Nigeria. Some of them are living in very horrible situations in Nigeria. I want to recognize the presence of my able chapter chairpersons. First, let me start by calling on architect Emma Adigwe. He is the chairman representing Nigeria's Diaspora organization Italy. Engineer Cornelius Albert, representing NIDOE Netherlands. Chief Andrew Idu is representing NIDOE Spain. Mr. Segios Anthony Ogochukwu is representing Ireland. Dr. Felix Otusele is my chairman, representing NIDOE Ukraine. Actually, I live in Ukraine. I've been living in Ukraine for the past 30 years. NIDOE France is represented by Mrs. Regina Anyango. UK South, one of our most formidable NIDOE chapters, here today is represented by Princess Mariam Awolowo. And I will not complete this introduction without introducing my honorable members on the board of trustees NIDOE Europe, which I represent. I have here with me the able General Secretary, Mr. Ike Naogu, who has been doing a very wonderful job. So he is serving in Juba. He works for the United Nations. He flew in from South Sudan to make it to this meeting. Ikena, you're welcome. The Assistant General Secretary, Mr. Obusakin Ade, is supposed to be here, I guess. Okay, yeah. Abe, you're welcome. He also flew in from Angola. He works for a multinational oil company. So the business summit and the AGM brought him here to Stockholm. You're welcome, Abe. And of course, Dr. Camelo Skonkwo, who has been anchoring the event today, you all know him. Our social welfare and events director, he's doing a very good job. Camelo, you're welcome. I will leave this meeting. Of course, we're going to be having a cross-section photograph, but I want to let everybody know that actually Nigeria is the giant in the waking. Nigeria is a very big country. We don't need to emphasize that any longer. The Chinese are there, other countries are there. My plea will be to the Swedish business community. I will appreciate a revisit of this conversation today, but it has to be the other way. I will formally extend a letter of invitation to the Swedish West African Chamber of Commerce and Culture. I would like you to visit Nigeria. We will arrange to take you to the relevant authorities. We'll arrange to make sure that we form a better business understanding between Nigeria and Sweden. That will be my prayer, and I hope that can be granted, because you have a lot that you can offer to Nigeria, and Nigeria also has a lot it can offer to Sweden. So on that note, may I say thank you very much.